Hello there and welcome to my views and news. Breaking news is from Ethiopia, where Ethiopian Orthodox Church has called an emergency plenary session. Key decisions expected about Tigray. Who is going to attend this session, this meeting? When will the meeting be held? Are archbishops from foreign dioceses going to attend this meeting too? I remember the Orthodox Church called a similar plenary session a few months ago when a breakaway Orthodox faction emerged in Oromia, and then some key decisions were made after a meeting of the plenary session. Secondly, viewers, Human Rights Watch today spoke about the release of Oromo prisoners. Some Oromo politicians have been in Ethiopian prisons for more than 2 years, for around 3 years. They have been granted bails in some cases, and one of them has been acquitted as well. He was charged with murder of a police officer, but charges could not be proved, and he's still in prison. Thirdly, Ethiopian PM Abiy was in Italy yesterday. He attended international conference on migration and human trafficking there. It seems that his neighboring countries' leaders did not attend the meeting. They did not attend the meeting in person. They sent their deputies to attend the meeting. So why was PM Abiy there in Italy himself? He could have sent someone on his behalf. Which neighboring leaders did not attend the meeting and they sent their deputies, someone to represent them? Firstly, viewers, it seems that Orthodox Church of Ethiopia, EOTC, Ethiopian Orthodox Tivado Church, is going to make big decisions about what is happening in Tigray. In Tigray, we know that Sea of Silama Kisat Birhan, an independent regional Orthodox structure, has been established. Tigray is refusing to reconcile with the main church led by Abune Matthias the Patriarch. Tigray archbishops say that the church archbishops were part of the war on Tigray. Church archbishops fueled the war. That is why they don't want to be with murderers, those who backed massacre of Tigrayans. Tigray archbishops allegedly say that they don't want to stay with them. So they want to have a separate regional religious structure. And that is why we saw that several attempts by the main church to reconcile with the Tigray archbishops met with resistance. Abune Matthias the Patriarch himself visited Tigray twice after the signing of Pretoria deal. Once he visited Tigray to attend the funeral ceremony of an archbishop. Then he visited Tigray to hand over 20 million Ethiopian birrs for humanitarian work to Tigray interim president. Tigray archbishops boycotted Abune Matthias' second visit. Doors of churches were closed on Abune Matthias and his accompanying patriarchs. And then Tigray took another step. Around a week ago, Tigray elected 10 bishops. 5 to local dioceses, 5 to foreign dioceses. One of the 10 bishops who wanted to visit Tigray for his election was stopped at Bole airport. He arrived at Bole airport from Australia. He was stopped there, detained there, and he was deported back to Australia through India. But he was elected in Aksum when Tigray clergy voted to elect the 10 bishops. The election of 10 bishops was followed by a ceremony in which these bishops were ordained. 6 bishops were there when ceremony was held, I think 2 days ago in Aksum. 5 appointed to local dioceses like West Tigray, South Tigray, Southeast Tigray, etc. dioceses. 1 to foreign dioceses. So, bishops elected, ordained to, it means they can start their work. Why is Tigray electing new bishops? Because Tigray wants to have the required quorum for the creation of a synod. Tigray, it's very clear that Tigray archbishops are on their way to form a synod. To form a synod, they need bishops who can then elect archbishops, etc. That is why bishops have been appointed. And we could see more appointments, and then we could see formation of synod. What will happen after that? We don't know. Will the synod choose a patriarch, or will it continue working under Abune Matthias the patriarch, who is a Tigrayan? It's not clear. But in both cases, it would be a win for Tigray archbishops. If Abune Matthias agrees to be the Tigray member Lama's patriarch too, so Tigray archbishop will welcome it. But Abune Matthias's position would be ceremonial, his status ceremonial. And if he refused, if Abune Matthias refused to be the patriarch of Menbere Lama, then obviously Tigray archbishops will choose new patriarch. So that is what is happening in Tigray. Just yesterday, Tigray Orthodox Church spokesperson Tesfaye Hadira said that Tigray archbishops, Tigray Orthodox Church had chosen its path, and EOTC should not interfere, should not create disputes with Tigray Orthodox Church. Obviously, the church is expected to respond. Church declared the election of bishops in Tigray illegal. Before the election was held, the main church issued a statement asking Ethiopian federal government, PM Abiy, Tigray interim president Getachew, the federal regional government officials to stop the election. The election of bishops could not be stopped. 10 bishops elected. Now, the church wants to make a final decision. That is why it has called an emergency plenary session. What is a plenary session? A session, a meeting attended by all participants. So it means that those who are representing Ethiopian Orthodox Church, whether in Ethiopia or in abroad, all are going to attend this meeting. The meeting will be held on the 1st of August. Ethiopian calendar date would be 25th of July. We are going to see arrival of archbishops from across the world who are part of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. They'll arrive in Addis Ababa by the 24th of July, Ethiopian calendar, 31st of July. And then on the 1st of August, plenary session will be held. How long will it take to complete? We don't know, maybe 2 days or 1 day, we don't know. But on the 1st of August, the session will kick off. And then decisions will be made. How to deal with Tigray, defiant Tigray Orthodox Church. When Oromia region-based archbishops announced relative independence by appointing 26 bishops earlier this year, we saw a similar plenary session of the Orthodox Church. We saw arrival of archbishops from across the world, and Church sent a very strong message back then. Titles of the 3 archbishops were revoked. Their appointment was declared illegal, and then Church called for nationwide protests. Church accused the government of being behind the alleged attempt to divide the Church. So that meeting led to some key decisions made by Church. Once again, we could see some key decisions. Is the Church, main Church, going to excommunicate Tigray archbishops? Let's see. Is the main Church going to call for a nationwide protest? Let's see. Almost a week. After almost a week, the meeting will be held. We'll try to keep you updated. So far, the Church has decided that it should take a position. Not to the extent of issuing statements. Church is now going to take a practical position. It will announce some practical steps to put pressure upon Ethiopian federal government, Tigray interim government, and Tigray Orthodox Church, Menbere Salama, which according to the Church, main Church, is an illegal structure. So, coming days, crucial viewers, we could see more defiance from the Tigray Orthodox Church. Will the government intervene? Government will only intervene if it felt threatened, like it did last time when the Church called for nationwide protests earlier this year. Then government felt in danger, and PM Abiy projected himself as a mediator. This time government silent. Why? Because Church is just issuing statements. But after this plenary session, we could see some big decisions made by the main Church. Secondly, viewers, Human Rights Watch, an international organization, is calling for release of Oromo politicians who have been in prison for around 3 years. What are the pending cases? Which cases are pending against them? Which charges? No one knows, because most of these Oromo leaders were granted bails or they were acquitted by some courts, but still they are not being released. Most of them are members of Oromo Liberation Front, OLF. After Hachalo's murder, several OLF leaders were arrested, and some were arrested before that too. Abdi Ragasa, member of OLF Central Committee, in prison for around 2 years. Michael Boran and some others too. Lamy Bagna, then Kanasa Ayana, and some others. Around 7 to 8 Oromo OLF leaders are in prison, acquitted mostly or granted bails, but security institutions in Ethiopia are very powerful. They can defy, they can violate court orders. Court grants bails to people. People are not released, or they are released and immediately after the release they are again arrested. So, institutions, security institutions are very powerful in Ethiopia. When we say that tens of thousands of Fano fighters, Amhara activists, Amhara hardliners are in prisons, arrested last year, we must not forget that thousands of Oromos are also in prisons. They were put in prisons before Amharas were put in prison. After Hachalo's murder, we saw a campaign to dismantle Kio movement. Even before that, Kios were arrested, OLF leadership arrested, even Daud IBSA has remained under house arrest. So entire OLF leadership under crackdown in prisons. What is their crime? The crime, they are members of OLF. And sometimes civilians are arrested. Why? Because they are allegedly KOs or they have connections with OLA, with OLF. No rule of law, basically. If there is no rule of law, then armed groups emerge. And people back these armed groups because they are so-called liberators. They emerge on this slogan that there is injustice, there is no rule of law, there is might is right there. They take these slogans that we're fighting for justice, for equality. That is why OLA has following and support in Oromia, because there is no rule of law. Anyone can be arrested in Oromia if he is seen as a supporter of OLA's narrative. It's not that one should be a part of OLA's armed operations. If anyone is found backing OLA's narrative, he can be arrested, put in prisons, and then forgotten. Let's see, will the government listen to Human Rights Watch? This is not the first time that Human Rights Watch and other organizations, international organizations, have called for the release of Oromo leaders, but still they're in prison. Why? Government believes perhaps that OLA, OLF are the same. And if these members of OLF are released, they'll strengthen OLA. So that is why if there is no dialogue with OLA and if there is no result of dialogue with OLA, we could see these OLF leaders remain in prison. So PM Abiy was in Italy yesterday. He arrived there. I don't know why he decided to attend the meeting in Italy personally. He could have sent some lower level leader to. From Kenya, Ruto did not attend the meeting. From Djibouti, Ismail Omar did not attend the meeting. He sent a representative. From Somalia, Hassan Sheikh attended the meeting. So Hassan Sheikh and PM Abiy were there among Sudanese, among Ethiopian neighbors. Why was this meeting so important for Ethiopian PM Abiy that he rushed to attend the meeting? I think the only reason is that PM Abiy is hoping to get financial assistance from EU, Italy part of EU, and he hoped that he might get something from Italy in return of commitment that he'll stop Ethiopians from migrating towards Europe. I don't know what he has achieved through this visit, but so far perhaps he was the topmost leader from the Horn of Africa, East Africa, who attended this meeting in Italy. Thank you for watching.